The next video we're going to watch here is Quarantine by Darius Lipka. Great overhead tracking shot. And it builds the story, 754th day of pandemic, so I love the environment around him. Great world building here. That was a good visualization of the text message. And now we're in his perspective.
Citizen, National Special Forces here. We noticed that you didn't wash your hands on time. Open the door now, or we use force.
I don't want to go into fucking quarantine.
1135 to headquarters. We proceed to enter using force. I repeat, we proceed to enter using force.
Okay. If you want to learn a whole lot more, then join my film school, Unscripted Studio, where I teach my unique style of improvisational filmmaking. You'll learn storytelling, directing and shooting, gear, editing, transitions and effects, and building your business. And most importantly, you can join our online community forum where you'll do filmmaking challenges, share your work, and get creative feedback. This is the most important part of becoming a better filmmaker. So check out the link in the description and join us at Unscripted Studio. Let's go through it again. I'll talk a little bit about my thoughts on this. So the world building here is great. It's got a very particular aesthetic to it. You know, you can tell this guy has been sitting around in his house for a very, very long time. And so the subtitle that tells you 754th day of pandemic, of course, makes that very, very clear. So what Darius did here is some very efficient exposition. And exposition is when you tell the audience the information they need to know before they can understand the story. If this video had started here, let's start like at this point, where the guy pulls off his headphones and he's just sitting in the room. If we hadn't seen anything before that moment, then we wouldn't really understand the story. We wouldn't know that this guy has been in quarantine for almost 800 days. So the premise of the story would be lost without those expository shots at the beginning. But of course, the trick in filmmaking is to make your exposition as clear and as entertaining as possible and as brief as possible. You don't want to spend very long explaining to the audience the world of the video. You want to just get straight to the plot. So he does a great job at the beginning here, just tracking over the painting and the books and the mess, the general mess that's around this guy, of establishing that world. And then we quickly get a sense of the character's desperation because he will drink that vodka that's been in that glass for who knows how long with a Twizzler stuck in it. Twizzler straw, I assume. And then this is another clever way to visualize something that's usually pretty hard to do visually, which is a text message. There's a million different ways that you can show a text message in your film, and usually just displaying it on the actual screen of the phone is not the best way because it's hard to read. So what he did, instead of putting it on the screen, is to just put a message next to the phone as if there's some sort of a holographic projection coming from the phone. Who knows, maybe we've advanced our technology a lot in 800 days of quarantine. But whatever, it works for me. That running shot, that's a Sonora cam type of shot. It was popularized by the movie Pi. For all you film nerds out there, the movie Pi by Darren Aronofsky. You mount the camera on the person. So maybe this guy was just like holding a monopod or a gimbal, and the camera was like here and he was holding it and the lens was pointed toward his face, or maybe it was actually mounted to his body. I don't know, but really cool technique. And then here, the camera's not mounted at his eye level, it's mounted at waist level because it gives us a clearer view of the sink. So I like that POV shot that's not actually a POV. And I appreciate the blurring out of the name on the soap. I'm not sure why that was necessary, but that's interesting. And then, there's just more conflict. We see the gun, right? The gun in his back pocket. This escalates the tension further because now we have a gun in our plot. And if anyone knows the Chekhov's gun rule of script writing, it's that if you show a gun in Act 1, then you need to use the gun by the end of the play or the end of the movie. that's Chekhov's gun. So, you know, if there's a gun shown in somebody's drawer, then at some point during the plot, someone should use that gun. And he does sort of do that at the end of this film.
Citizen, National Special Forces here. We noticed that you didn't wash your hands on time. Open the door now.
You notice a little bit of sci-fi there with the voices.
I don't wanna go into fucking
They're
quarantine.
distorted voices, so it gives us the sense that the world outside is futuristic. And then boom, there comes the gun. So a lot of little dramatic tricks being used here, very skilled filmmaking. Really appreciate the effort, great video. Next up is